a sequel that's gonna live on. It's gonna survive. Today we review the sequel to Independence Day. Oh no, let's just face it, this movie sucks. Independence Day Resurgence, directed by Roland Emmerich, the man that directed the 1996 Independence Day. He also directed 10,000 BC, the 1998 Godzilla, White House Down, and many other movies which were not that good. Independence Day is pretty much his only good movie. Maybe Stargate is a good movie too, but pretty much that's it. So when I heard about a sequel to Independence Day 20 years later, I was interested because I do like the first Independence Day, but I wasn't expecting it to be all that great. It didn't really look all that good from the trailer. One of the biggest lines from the trailer, which gave me the idea that this movie wasn't going to be all that good, is Jeff Goldblum saying, "That ship looks bigger than the last one." And I was just thinking that's what they're going for. They're just going for a movie that is bigger and better, with really not it being better than the first one. You're just trying to think that to make it better means to make it bigger, where instead you should be trying to give us some good characters and give us a good story, and in order to make it better than the first one, and try to make it simple, really. The plot to this movie is basically the aliens come back to attack Earth again, and humans have to use leftover alien technology to fight them, and that's pretty much the movie. And I have to say that this movie is not very good. It's not as good as the first one, and I didn't really expect it to be all that good, but I was hoping it was going to be good. First, let's talk about the returning characters from the first movie. Jeff Goldblum returns for this movie, and he is pretty good, but he's pretty much phoning it in and pretty much giving exposition. He really doesn't feel like the David character from the first movie, David Levinson. You have Bill Pullman returning, this time as the former President Whitmore, where in the first movie he was the president, and he's suffering from post-traumatic stress disorder. He has a psychic connection to the aliens, and that is interesting. It comes into play in the plot, but he doesn't have that great character that he had in the first movie. In the first movie he was very inspirational, and in this movie his character is not as inspirational as he was in the first film. Judd Hirsch returns as David Levinson's dad, Jeff Goldblum's dad, in this movie, and he's really not doing much in this film. In the first film, he helps give David the idea necessary to take down the aliens. He tells him to make sure you don't catch a cold, and David comes up with the idea of uploading a computer virus into the main alien ship, or the mothership. In this movie, he is a celebrity because of his actions from the first movie, helping David get this idea for the computer virus, but he doesn't really do that much with that. He is comic relief, but he's not that funny, and he spends most of the movie hanging around in a car full of kids, and then hanging around in a bus full of kids. Kids that are unnecessary to the movie. I don't know why these kids were in this movie, and the fact that they were in harm's way with the aliens is so dumb and stupid. And the other returning character for this movie is Brett Spiner, who played the scientist in Area 51. He returns in this movie, which is weird because I thought his character died. So it's weird to see him come back, but I guess they wanted somebody for comic relief, and I guess they needed somebody to play a scientist. Well, they could have, for Area 51, although they could have picked just anybody to play a scientist for Area 51. They didn't really need Brett Spiner to be the scientist again. It would have been fine if they just left him dead. And these characters are really not all that well developed in this film, and that's pretty much a shame, because I do like some of these characters from the first movie, but they're not as interesting in this film as they were in the first film. And one of the things that I was really disappointed to see was Jeff Goldblum with a new love interest in this movie. In the first movie, he had this love interest that that seemed to be very important, an ex-wife that he gets back together with in this movie. And in this movie, it's an entirely new woman that he falls in love with in this film. And I was thinking, back to the woman from the first movie. They don't even mention what happened to the woman from the first movie. They don't mention if she died or if she left him again or what. She is just written off. That's so stupid. One of the great things about Jeff Goldblum's character is his chemistry with Will Smith. But unfortunately, Will Smith doesn't return for this movie since he's too busy with Suicide Squad. So instead, to replace Will Smith's character, we get somebody playing his son, Jesse Usher, who has no scenes with Jeff Goldblum at all, really. And he's not as much of an interesting character as much as Will Smith. He doesn't have any great one-liners that Will Smith had in the first movie. Will Smith had great one-liners like, boom, welcome to Earth, or, now that's what I call a close encounter, or, hey, I didn't hear the fat lady singing, or something like that. Really, the best one-liners coming out of Jesse Usher, who plays Dylan Hiller in the movie, is let's light some fireworks or get ready for a close encounter. And that's pretty much it. He doesn't have as many cool one-liners in this film as Will Smith did, and he doesn't have the charisma that Will Smith had. And what's even more disappointing is the fact that Will Smith's son is not the love interest for the former President Whitmore's daughter in this film, Patricia Whitmore, who in this movie is being played by Megan Monroe from It Follows. In the original movie, the president's daughter was played by a very young Mae Whitman, who was very good in the movie, and she's grown up to be a terrific actress. But they didn't want her to play Patricia Whitmore in this movie, which is kind of a shame because I do like Mae Whitman. They brought in Megan Monroe instead because she's more capable of doing the action scenes in this movie. They make Patricia Whitmore into a fighter pilot, and it makes more sense to have somebody that can actually do that, like Megan Monroe, rather than Mae Whitman. And I like Megan Monroe. I think she's a terrific actress, so all right. But in the first movie, it looked like that Patricia Whitmore was going to fall in love with Will Smith's son in the film, Dylan Hiller, who's now played by Jesse Usher, and I guess they didn't want an interracial relationship as one of the centers subplots of this movie. Instead, let's have Megan Monroe fall in love with Liam Hemsworth, one of the biggest Hollywood hunks out there. That is so disappointing and breaks the theme of bringing humans together in unity despite cultural differences. It really ruins that theme. And I did not like the relationship. There was no chemistry between Megan Monroe and Liam Hemsworth in this film. And Liam Hemsworth is not even that great of an actor. Most of the scenes that you would get between Jeff Goldblum and Will Smith are replaced in this movie with Jeff Goldblum and Liam Hemsworth, and they don't have as great chemistry in this film as Jeff Goldblum had with Will Smith. Will Smith and Jeff Goldblum had great comedic chemistry. They worked out very well together. You don't get that good chemistry between Jeff Goldblum and Liam Hemsworth, really. And then again, one of the reasons why is because Liam Hemsworth is not as a great actor as his brother Chris Hemsworth, who plays Thor in the Avenger films. And then you have these annoying characters in the film. There are two annoying characters. One played by Travis Trope, who is this other fighter pilot among the heroes. He is very annoying because he is a goofball and he seems to have an attraction to this Asian fighter pilot played by Angela Baby named Rain Lau. And Rain Lau's character is pretty interesting. I did like her character in the movie, but I didn't really care for the subplot of her getting together with Travis Trope. I just really didn't like Travis Trope's character, and he was just so annoying. I wanted his character to die. I think his character was put in the movie to replace the Harry Connick Jr. character from the first movie. He was trying to be the same comic relief that Harry Connick Jr. was providing for the first movie, but Harry Connick Jr.'s character was a bit more interesting, a bit more funny, really. And Travis Trope's character is not as funny. The other annoying character is played by Nicholas Wright, this guy named Floyd Rosenberg, who I believe is the character that is trying to be this cool badass that wants to kill aliens with guns. these alien guns that we kept from the events from the first movie. But he's being upstaged by this really cool guy from Africa, Dimbukti Umbatu, who is really awesome in the film with a machete killing aliens. And he has this one-liner that says, "You always kill him from behind," and it was really cool what he does in this movie. He was one of the main characters in the film, but he doesn't get as much screen time, and that's a bit of a shame. I just really didn't like this movie all that much. It just really wasn't a good movie. The action is okay. Some of the special effects are pretty good. The aliens look pretty good, but it really is just not that good of a movie, and it's just not as interesting. Feels kind of dull at times, really. So, overall, I'm gonna give this movie a D. Don't see this movie. There are better films out there to see, like The Shallows, or if you're into an art house thriller, go see Neon Demon. And that's all I gotta say for Independence Day Resurgence. This movie pretty much sucks.